Stop every injustice. There are circumstances that cut through our caution. When a leader is threatening to massacre his people, and the international community is calling for action.
Now, let's stop right there, Mr. President. You said when a leader is threatening to massacre their people, that's why we went into Libya. How about Assad in Syria? He's not threatening to massacre his people. He's actually massacred 1,000 people. How come you and the brave Mr. Cameron don't go into Syria? Why is it you're killing the Libyan army and trying to kill Gaddafi? What has he got on you? What are they after Gaddafi for? And why won't they lift a finger to protect the people of Syria and the people of Iran? Does anyone have the answer to that? Don't call me. We all know the answer. It's all dog wad. That's all it is. It's all dog talk, all of it. It gets even stupider in clip 22. I don't know who his speechwriter is, but this is really idiotic. Listen to this one in 22.
From Newton and Darwin to Edison and Einstein, from Alan Turing to Steve Jobs.
Wait, let's stop for a minute. Steve Jobs is equal to Darwin, Newton, Einstein, and Edison? Did I miss something in translation? We know that Al Gore almost flunked natural sciences, which is why he adheres to the religion of global warming. Okay? But for the President of the United States to put Steve Jobs in the category of Newton, Darwin, Einstein, and Edison is beyond comprehension. But then again, it's England, isn't it? And it's Obama, isn't it? One day he's Irish, and the next day he's the grandson of a Kenyan who served as a cook in the British Army. We don't know whether we have Zelig in the White House or somebody even more interesting. New York, Ellen, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Looks to me like in your dream you got the leftist liberal snare, big time. It took me a while to figure out what was going on until I started investigating it. It's called the liberal snare, and you got it in your dream, big time. So you're right on line.
Well, it was like a Larry David, perhaps one of the most vile men on the planet, probably one of the most evil people in America, who poses as a comedian. But Larry David's Brooklyn sneer is probably what you are referring to.
No, it's a generalized thing that's going on. It's called the liberal snare.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me. They can sneer all they want. You know, in putting together today's show, I stumbled across an article from, was it from Beowulf? I forgot already where I found it. Vanity Fair, about Arianna Huffington being sued by her former cohorts. They're suing her because she made $300 million on a sale and gave them nothing. So the leftists who work with Arianna Huffington to create what they thought would be a counterpoint to the Drudge Report. They wanted to create a left-wing Drudge Report, and it talks about how the site was created as a result of a meeting that took place in Huffington's Brentwood mansion in 2004. What I was stunned about was who they listed was at that primary meeting to create the report. And number two, they met in order to elect Obama. I forget the name of the group, with 114 or something like that. It had 14, 16. It was a number of days left until the last election when they foisted Barack Hussein Zelig Obama upon us. In this core of evil leftists are the following people. Are you ready for this? Larry David and his environmentalist wacko wife, Lori David. David Geffen. Movie producer, Brian Grazer. Screenwriter, Aaron Sorkin. Norman Lear. Almost all of them stem from the same neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, so far as I can tell. And all of them hate America, in my opinion, with a vengeance that's incomprehensible. It borders on the pathological in terms of their hatred for this country. Now, this D-list of the Hollywood left met at Huffington's mansion, together with an individual named Peter Dayo, who's suing Arianna right now. He's a political consultant. And who is Peter Dayo? Listen to this. He's a former member of the Lebanese army turned far-left political consultant. That's right. A man who fought for one of the militant Muslim states trying to push Israel off the face of the earth was at this meeting with these Brooklyn liberals, this cabal of leftist Brooklynites that created the Huffington Post and helped place Barack Obama in power. Now you say, what does that have to do with Michael Savage? Anything, everything and nothing. They were 8,000 miles and 5 years away from the decision that banned Michael Savage from going to England. And yet this Hollywood cabal, as typified by Larry David, wants to move America toward exactly the kind of nanny state and banny state that England has become. And to a large degree, they are succeeding. You see, England has a socialized medical system We now have socialized medicine. England has a Marxist regulatory regime which restricts business. We have a bigger one emerging by the day under Barack Hussein, Zelig Obama. England has banned free speech by keeping Michael Savage out and banning anyone who does not adhere to the party line. And this Hollywood mafia does exactly the same thing through their blacklisting of anyone conservative who does not work in this town. So here we have it. England reaffirms ban on radio host Michael Savage, writes Jonathan Turley. Who is Jonathan Turley? Liberal constitutional professor, and he says this, I'll summarize it. While I strongly disagree with many of Savage's statements, I view the ban as part of a disturbing trend limiting free speech in the West, and particularly in England, he writes. The very notion of ideas being a threat to public safety is the hallmark of censorship and governmental bias. The most recent letter is equally disturbing, he writes. It puts the burden on Savage to show that his ideas are not a threat to public security. A ridiculous burden, when the only way to do so appears to be the repudiation of his beliefs and ideas. England has moved rapidly against free speech guarantees with comparably little protest. There does not even to be much of a national debate despite the fundamental shift on individual rights. He writes, we need to support those civil libertarians in England who are fighting this lonely battle, often on behalf of unpopular individuals like Savage. See, now that's a true liberal, as opposed to the fascists who call themselves progressives. The fascists in America who call themselves progressives, the sneering Brooklynites who are at the core of it all, those who would ban your speech, those who would commit you to a mental hospital if they had the power, those who would put you in a re-education camp if they and do they have the power. Trust me, I know who they are. Everything they fear, they have become.